Hey guys, Freedom Voice here with another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's entitled Chris Watts Vibes. And what I've been looking at recently is several videos from the Chris Watts, Shannan Watts case. And I've just noticed a lot of very interesting tactics or details between the two. In this video, you're going to see a series of clips from the two. I'm going to kind of transition from one to the other. And I want to just kind of bring out certain points. I'm going to number each point. I'm going to call it Chris Watts Vibes, number one, so on and so forth. And I hope you can begin to see the similarities. And I think at the end of the video, you'll understand why I'm doing this.
Well, my name is Chris Watts. I'm doing my communication speech for Brenda Armentrout. And welcome to Broomfield, Colorado. It's about 70 degrees and it's awesome outside, so welcome. I'm doing my speech on a relationship deterioration and repair, and this is my PowerPoint to help you. Deterioration. The relationship begins to fall apart, crumble, or fail. You have weakening bonds. You get bored of the everyday routine, and you get distractions such as work, hobbies, relationships, no matter how harmless, even at the job. You might meet a new person, and it could strengthen into something else, and could weaken the bond you have with the partner you have. You spend less time with each other, and sometimes you have no time to maintain the relationship. Sometimes in a relationship, you maybe make promises that can turn into a major betrayal, or minor arguments that could turn into things where you can say spiteful comments, which turn into bigger problems. The first phase of deterioration is interpersonal dissatisfaction, which when you become unhappy with all the everyday interactions with you and your partner. You also begin to view your future with your partner as a negative future. And the second phase is interpersonal deterioration, which you start to grow farther and farther apart. And you share less of your free time with each other. You have more awkward silences at dinner, or when you're just out by yourself, you don't talk at all. You disclose less of your feelings, and you show less affection toward each other. When you have good communication, you show more nonverbal communication, which is the majority of the messages we send, like through gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, the tone of your voice. And there's many types of forms of communication these days, and it's the most successful groundwork for relationships.
2 months later, I went through one of the, I would say, darkest times of my life. I was diagnosed with some health challenges, and then I met Chris. I met Chris because of those health challenges. I thought my life was crumbling underneath me, and I didn't know which way to turn. I didn't have a lot of friends at the time because a lot of my friends, the friends I did have, I lost because they didn't understand that I looked perfectly fine. And I felt horribly inside, horribly. And I was like, oh, what the heck, I'm never gonna meet him. Except, one thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids, we live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Okay, I just want to point out the fact that Shannan was talking about her experience of having health challenges. She mentioned that she was going through one of the darkest times in her life. And this would be when she met Chris Watts. Chris Watts vibe number one. He was extremely charming.
Volcanic Communications, this is Stacey. Hi, Stacey. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. She's 15 weeks pregnant, and she wasn't feeling well over the weekend, and I have called and texted. I've come to her house. She's not answering the door. She's not responding to text messages, phone calls. I've had other friends reach out to her. None of us can get her to respond to us, and her car is here.
All right, as was the case with Shannan Watts, Mica Miller became very drawn to JP Miller because of his extreme charm. Chris Watts vibe number one, extreme charm, is also seen in JP Miller.
Happy birthday to me. Oh my God, it's so full. That's, oh, there's no one. I feel lightheaded.
Well, I wonder why. Yeah. I have no idea.
You and me go fishing in the dark.
It was, actually, I think it was the concert she went to.
Was it?
Yeah, well.
Was it that time?
Yeah, because she said she loved that song.
Greetings, Solid Rock. Our elders met tonight, and we've decided to follow the advice of our commander-in-chief and other authority figures. I cannot wait to see you. It hurts my heart that we won't be in church together for the next 2 weeks, but hopefully April 5th we will regather. We'll be in touch in the next 2 weeks just to confirm that, but I look forward to seeing you then. We will have counseling available for all of y'all after you've been cooped up in your house for 2 weeks with your loved ones. And I lost my train of thought. And
So you got necessary endings. Your life of sleeping is over. So when I get into this and I start to look at what the scriptures say, I came across this passage, and here it is. You might remember the song by the Birds, turn to everything. There's this. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away, and it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina, and we're gonna have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can. Yeah, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books. He ties my shoes.
Shannan, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
I got this lay next to her body and spent time with her body about 4 times this week, and each time it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up. I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week, and that morning, actually, I went to the mall later. She had bought me this dog tag, and the chain broke, so I went to the mall to get it fixed. And I saw a female about 20, 30 feet in front of me, and she was wearing one of Mica's dresses, and she had the same tattoo Mica has on her arm and the exact same hair. And out of just instinct, I screamed, "Mica!" And the girl turned around, and it was one of her sisters. And I thought I raised her from the dead. She's alive, But
I have no idea where they went, and it's just earth-shattering. I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from. I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. It's really hard to even suspect anything right now as far as how she could have left, or if someone came picked her up, or
you guys
someone.
Have any kind of issues, marital issues, or?
We're going through separation.
You are. Did you guys file it yet or anything, or just talking about?
No, we're gonna sell the house and do a separation.
How's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most part, or?
Walk away.
I'll show you the pictures.
Do you want to go to jail?
They'll be on Facebook in a few hours.
Alrighty, you'll be in jail in a few hours. Walk away.
And my Bible says that he took all the abuse you could think of for you. Jesus took it all for you. So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship.
In 2015, JP was the pastor of Solid Rock Ministries, and I served as his assistant. We separated after I learned JP was having an affair with our former nanny, Mica Miller, who joined the church at age 15 and was married to JP's best friend. JP told me that in addition to his affair with Mica, he had employed prostitutes and had been sexually inappropriate with several underage members of our church. He blamed his immoral sexual behaviors on his sexual abuse he experienced for years by his father, Wayne Miller.
I think I met him sometime in June, probably early June. It might have been May. It was just talking at work. It was pretty casual. He didn't have a wedding ring on his finger. And every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship. He didn't even mention his kids right away either. And then one day he told me that he had 2 kids. I was like, that's pretty cool. And started telling me about his kids.
That sounded like a sarcastic comment.
No, I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, he's a dad. It was like right around Father's Day too. So whenever that is in June.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not good with holidays.
He told me he had kids, and then it was Father's Day shortly after that. So that's what I do know. And I was like, I thought it was cute. And then he's telling me about him. He's pretty excited about him. And then he mentioned that he did have a significant other. And then he told me that those 2 were in the process of a separation.
Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi.
This is bad. This is bad, really bad.
Former Solid Rock pastor Bernard Kinnerson says John Paul Miller wasn't expected to preach the morning after his wife, Mica Miller, died by suicide. Instead, a church assistant told Kinnerson to write a message to be read to the congregation.
And then it was about 7 minutes later, I got a text that said, well, he's going to go ahead and preach in the morning, but I should go ahead and have a message ready.
In the days after Mica's death, disturbing details came out about John Paul's documented abuse of her, including putting GPS trackers on her car, slashing her tires, and posting an explicit photo of her online. A week after Mica's death, Kinnerson made the hard decision to leave Solid Rock.
I mean, we were led to believe that all of this was coming from Mica and her mental illness, and not being on her meds, that she'd been on this long psychotic, episode. And it was just a big eye-opener to me that he wasn't the man that I thought he was. I have been physically sick and emotionally sick. I've lost like 12 pounds in the last few weeks. It's going to be hard for me to get involved with another church after this experience. Now, it's my wife and I. We're on sabbatical right now and just, taking some time to heal and recover from this, because I'm reeling from this.
Kinnerson says he was never involved in church finances. For much of his time there, he worked for free or on a small stipend, a point that wasn't lost on him when the church bought a $429,000 Cirrus SR-22 private plane, much like the one pictured here.
And that was really hurtful to me, because we can do this deal that's going to be done about this plane, but I can't get, paid as a pastor. The plane was going to serve the purpose of him going around and talking at different churches.
I think that's what they really intended.
At this point, I couldn't say.
Though Solid Rock's assets add up to just over $5.5 million, Kinnerson says membership is down drastically from a high of about 700 to now less than 50. He has doubts about the church's future, including a $1 million plan to build a new church and a tuition-based school.
I don't see how it could move forward without, changing the name, changing everything. I don't see how it can go forward. Business as usual. This isn't like would be portrayed. This isn't some attack from the enemy, attack from Satan, attack from just some people that, got mad and left the church. It's full on. I believe, I'll just say it, I believe it's the judgment of God coming down.
And you can keep running from the authority and go to a different job and a different this and a different that. Sooner or later, you're going to have to learn to honor and humble yourself under an authority. You may not agree. This is really, really big, okay? You may not agree with that authority. You might not like the way the president does things. You might not like the way your boss does things. You might not like the way your husband, who's head of the household, does things. You might not like it, but that's not the point. The point is that God allowed that person to be in that position. God allowed that person to be put in that place. God called you to that authority, and he expects you to obey with a good attitude. Even if they're wrong, you should learn how to submit and keep on going with a good attitude. When we dishonor the authority God put in our lives, we're actually dishonoring God. The husband's job is to really hear God for the direction of the household and to bring the wife into agreement with that. The wife should always honor and respect her husband. Now, he might not be good in every area, but he's got a position in that household. He has a position that God allowed him to be in, that you chose for him to be in. You chose him. He's got a position there. The reason a lot of you don't have miracles in your home is because you don't honor the head of the household.
All right, in this series of clips, you're going to see how Chris Watts is seemingly deflecting attention away from himself to Shannan's cell phone or the wedding band and so on and so forth. He's doing everything he can to try to keep the eyes off of him. Notice how he brings the wedding band in and shows it to Nicole. And Nicole is very much aware. She's keenly aware of the fact that something's wrong, and she believes that he's involved with it. In other words, she believed that he's responsible for Shannan not being there at that time. And of course, Chris is trying to deflect away from it. And he's also, by bringing the wedding band, trying to suggest a form of devaluing, in the sense of saying that, you know, she wasn't being faithful for not wearing her wedding band, wherever she is. I mean, this is what narcissists do. This is what people do when they try to excuse their actions.
That's not even an issue right now. The issue right now is what happened to Shannan, Bella, and Celeste.
We know a lot more than you think we do, okay? And here's where we're confused. You're this great guy. I'm not just telling you that, okay? I'm telling you that because everyone tells us that, okay? We can't find anyone saying anything bad about you. But you are here today lying about something else. So we need to talk about that, okay?
It's amazing what one crazy woman can do to a man of God. One woman is scarier than 450 men coming after you. Last year, my wife, they went to Africa, had a wonderful trip, amazing trip. And she came back with the idea to start a school in Africa. And 6 weeks ago, she goes in the hospital, gets out, and just leaves. Just completely leaves me, leaves everything, drains the bank account, and goes. And guess what? While you're talking bad about me out there, I'm building a school in Africa for over 100 kids to be able to be fed. I'm just doing that. I'm doing the work. Now listen. So while you're talking about me on Facebook, look up in the sky and you'll see a Solid Rock logo on a plane. That's me going to Miami. Your pride is as bad as witchcraft. And just so you know, witchcraft, a spirit of witchcraft, is somebody that uses words to deceive others. You'll see it on Facebook. You'll see it in videos people make. You'll see it in conversations. The more they use their words to try to deceive, it's a spirit of witchcraft. And it's a prideful spirit. And here's why.
Shannan, are you home? Police department, if anyone's inside, make yourself known.
Her phone's here? Her phone's here.
Notice the difference between Nicole and Chris Watts. Nicole reaches out for the phone, Shannan's phone, and it's as though she can't even touch it, almost like it's hot. You see how she shakes her hand. You can see the clear empathy that Nicole has for Shannan, as opposed to Chris. No empathy, lacking any compassion or empathy at all. And Shannan, or Nicole, notices that.
Security system to see when she left?
That's why she left out the front door.
Because you told me that she went on a play date with the girls, and then
That's what she told me.
Addie said you told her that
She went with some friends. She went to go to a friend's house with the kids. That's why I knew they weren't at school.
Addie said you told her that she left in the middle of the night.
Oh no, she didn't leave in the middle of the night. No.
Yeah.
Has God allowed a catfish to be put in your tank today? I got a shark, great white shark in my tank.
just and upright people don't attack other people publicly. It's not, they're not honorable people. If they're doing it publicly, if they're on Facebook, if whatever it is, you have to recognize that there's something wrong with that. There's something in their heart that's not right. And they're not going to be honored by God for doing that. And they're not going to be honored by God for doing that.
And they're not going to be honored by God for doing that.
All right, appreciate your time.
Okay, number 7 is visible signs of guilt. You can see here Chris Watts definitely showing visible signs of guilt. And as he walks out the door here, his neighbor notices that, and he turns to the police officer, begins to tell him how he just doesn't seem to be acting right. He shows visible signs of guilt, and just like Chris Watts, I believe J.P. Miller, and preaching a sermon on Sunday morning, April 28th, and then after that, giving this announcement, is a clear indicator of visible signs of guilt.
Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next little bit, because I don't want to have. I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks, I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away, and it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina. And we're going to have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her.